नमस्कार मित्रांनो, 20 वर्षापूर्वीची गोष्ट आहे. मी मुंबईतल्या रामभाऊ माळगी प्रबोधिनीसाठी एक कार्यकर्ता म्हणून काम करत होतो आणि तेव्हा आम्ही एक महिन्याच्या कार्यक्रमाचं आयोजन केलं होतं, युनिव्हर्सल ब्रदरहूड प्रोग्रॅम. आणि त्याच्यासाठी पोलंडमधनं 3 जण आले होते. आय हॅव वन ऑफ देम विथ मी. हिज नेम इज कामिल बाय. ही वॉज अ स्टुडंट ॲक्टिव्हिस्ट ॲट दॅट टाईम and he spent 1 month in India, exactly in 2005, November, December. So Kamil, do you remember about your trip to India?
Yeah, of course I do. I still have photos. I sometimes, recollect some memories from time to time. I still do the yoga I learned in Mumbai, doing this every early morning practice. So it was, really a formulating experience, let's say.
पण आता मला जेव्हा पोलंडला यायचं होतं तेव्हा मी सर्च केलं की कामिल काय करतो, कारण तसा संपर्क तुटला होता. अँड इट वॉज व्हेरी एक्साइटिंग टू सी वॉट ही इज डुईंग नाव. सो कामिल वॉज वर्किंग विथ ही वर्कड इन अ कन्सल्टिंग जॉब फॉर मेनी इयर्स. बट आफ्टर दॅट त्यांना असं वाटलं की एकूणच ही जी सगळी इकोसिस्टम आहे मधमाशांची, त्याच्यामुळे सगळी शेती आणि त्याच्यामुळे शहरातनं मधमाशा नाहीशा होत आहेत आणि त्याच्यामुळे किती मोठा प्रभाव शहरावर पडत आहे. So he left his job and then he started doing something very exciting that in Warsaw and even in other places he's creating like an ecosystem to grow honeybees and creating the terraces of the buildings which grow honey आणि त्याच्यातनं एक पूर्ण ब्रँड. सो Kamil, tell about your experience.
Yeah, so I was a beekeeper already 20 years ago, a hobby beekeeper, doing this, everything as an amateur. And then I left my full-time employment gradually and started at the same time this, let's say, what is now a business, a company, a family-run company. Pszczelarium is the Polish name. So we are dealing with bees, mostly honeybees, by setting up hives on the rooftops, in the parks, for companies, for institutions. But we are also dealing with solitary bees, bumblebees also. Sometimes doing, green spaces for the bees, like flowering meadows. But most of this, what I'm doing is focused on the honeybee. So we have like 120 locations in 45 cities in Poland, servicing the bees, collecting honey, collecting pollen also sometimes, and we are producing, I think, most local honey there could be. So even we name the honey by the district of Warsaw it is produced from.
How much honey you collect in a year?
Well, usually we collect around 25 to 30 kilos per hive, which is basically 2 times the average for Poland. But last year was, for example, a record year where we collected in Warsaw almost 50 kilos per hive. So it's really a huge amount of
And
honey.
8 tons altogether, like a...
And altogether it will be from Warsaw around 8 tons of honey. So quite a lot. Usually it's not that lot, not that much, but we usually are selling the honey to our clients and on the retail market as well.
What we understand is honeybee, little honeybee that many of us just know, plays a very important role for environment and for ecosystem. And how do you see the role of honeybee or the vanishing honeybees in the urban jungle, and why it is important to rejuvenate it?
Yeah, so yeah, I need to underline that honeybee is like a natural part of the ecosystem. It's been here for ages, for thousands of years. Usually, habiting this hollow tree spaces or tree trunks. And when there were honeybees and humans living together in the same environment, humans have always tried to rob this poor honeybees. And when the agriculture came into existence, actually the honeybees were quite effective pollinators. So the pollinators is their main, let's say, role in their environment. But also we create kind of social awareness around bees, social awareness around environment. So we teach people not only about this honeybee, but also what is the change in the environment we actually have as a human civilization, and what we can do to make their lives better, right?
So is it true in Poland also? Because in India, many times we see that when you ask kids where your milk come from, in our generation we know that milk comes from cow, and then people
Mostly.
started thinking that milk comes from the parlor, and now everything comes from Amazon. So same thing about bees. Traditionally there used to be hives in the buildings, in the trees, and people used to buy that honey, and now everything comes from Amazon. How things are in Poland?
Yeah, so we are kind of the beekeeping business. I mean, most beekeepers are now having a hard time trying to make a living on honey or make a living on any bee product they can produce. We are flooded with adulterated honey from abroad. We are having problems to sustain the beekeeping, and for a couple of years already, the beekeepers have been decreasing the level of hives. So there is a question how to sustain organic, let's say, beekeeping and produce real honey and to make a living on that.
But it's a tough job. Have you been bitten by the bees?
All the time I've been bitten. Just 1 hour ago I worked with the bees. You see the propolis stains on my hands. And
how many 100 times you've been bitten?
Probably already thousands. For 30 years I've been doing beekeeping for 30 years, and I can for sure say above 1,000 bees have stung me so far. And I've been actually kind of really susceptible to the bees venom, but then I got, I got more tolerance in 25 years ago, and now I just don't pay attention to when I'm being stung.
And the good thing about him is it's not only growing honey, but he also does a lot of workshops and creates a community. Today also we are supposed to go to see the workshop, but somehow because of paucity of time it is not possible. But what is the idea behind creating, doing these workshops and teaching people the importance and growing honey? What do you think about it?
No, first of all, the people have good memories of beekeeping, because Poland was really traditionally beekeeping country. I would say that many people have memories of their grandparents or their uncles being a beekeeper, and these are all or almost every single time
growing honey at home and
yes, doing all this stuff. So they immediately got involved when they hear there are bees in the city. There's a honey house there we run. So the schools, the primary schools and kindergartens got involved and asked for beekeepers courses, events, and that's how we actually started, by being asked by people what can we teach them about the bees and show them more about the bees living in the city.
But how safe? Because nowadays this generation is very much conscious about their health and they want organic, and in the city there is so much of pollution and dust, and so you think that you grow honey on the terraces of the buildings, it is safe and it is good for health?
It is probably contrary to the first logic, but the honey from the city is actually potentially even cleaner than from the countryside, at least when there's an agricultural sprays around. There is no risk that honey gets contaminated in the city, because when there is a blossom season and the bees are flying, there's really low level only from the transport. The smoke is only from the transport, so it doesn't get as intense in the nectar and in the bees to contaminate any level of honey. So it's not, and it's been tested all around the world.
It's pure, it's not adulterated that you buy like a mixed with sugar and mixed with other kind of syrup. So that is, the quality is very well.
Well, the quality of the honey may be really adulterated in many ways, mostly by pasteurizing the honey. So as a source you have a good quality honey, but then you have to pour it from the large tank to the jars, and you have to heat it, and sometimes you do it really fast. So you have 80-90 degrees Celsius and you get the honey, and you make it lose all the nutritious values, right? So this is, I think, the most common thing that is done to the honey that is on the market shelves, and it's not really worth buying. Then you can, of course, mix or give the bees the sugar syrup, or mix it, or produce something like a sugar glucose syrup fructose syrup, and then add some things that just pretend to be honey, right? But there's this whole story that really some laboratories only can differ well adulterated honey from the real honey, unfortunately.
You have given up your well-paying corporate job for this, and you have spent enough years. So, what is your dream? What you want to do, like, or where
My
you see
dream,
this?
I have one dream, 1 hour holiday, 1 year holiday, because I have worked so hard for the last 10 years. I really need like one.
But it's passion. I mean, when you work for your
holiday.
passion, you don't care how many hours you're working.
Yeah.
But good to see you, Kamil, here, and good to see you in Warsaw, and looking forward that you'll visit India someday and maybe spread a word about growing honey to Indian farmers as well.
Who knows? Maybe some, really close future I'll be visiting.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.